Hey guys, welcome back to Cuda Cave. So, you seen in the last episode, we fixed the gas tank filler area there, welded that in, fabricated a nice piece of steel, go in there, brushed it all down. So we'll get on to the shock cross member now. The primer that I've been using is just a red primer that I get from Canadian Tire, real quick, squirt on, keep the rust away. Problem is that this stuff, it also wicks water. So it's kind of got a talcum powder type of base to it. I don't want to use this primer as a permanent thing. You saw me spray the red oxide on the back of the tail panel there. I will be taking that back off, but for right now I want to focus on this part, get this welded in, and then we can carry on with some more stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use a wire wheel on my grinder, and I'm just going to get as much rust off of this, as much primer as I can get off of this. I've got an etching primer, gray primer, that I'll spray on here before we weld it in. The nice thing with the etching primer, it's a zinc base, so you can weld through that. One big key note when you're using a wire wheel, please try and use a grinder that's got a trigger switch on it, not an on-off. These things will grab hold of any little holes, they'll spin you for a loop. Also safety glasses, wear your safety glasses. These little wires on here come shooting off. They can do a lot of damage. A friend of mine, Doug, you've heard me talk about him before. He's got the triple black 71. He raised this to me and really wanted me to stress to everybody out there, use a trigger switch. That way if it does grab, you just let go. You don't have to fight with the switch to turn it off. So let me get my stuff on here, and we'll just get rid of this red oxide and we'll put on some gray zinc. So guys, as I'm going along here, cleaning up, like I did sandblast this previously, but it started getting a little bit of surface rust just from sitting in the shop. So I was getting that all cleaned up, getting the red oxide off of this area and where the license plate goes down the other side. Then I had noticed a little spot right here. So this isn't factory, it looks like it's been punctured or just rotted away possibly, but it's the only bad spot on the whole tail panel other than here. So there's no need to change the whole tail panel at this point. Like we got the quarters on, it's just not possible. Well, it is possible, it's just not a smart move. So what I'm going to do, I actually have a piece of aluminum angle, so we'll just clamp this in behind here, and that will actually give us a good spot to fill that up with some weld, grind it down, make it flush. You wouldn't even know. You won't know afterwards that this was even repaired. So I'll get set up here, we'll fill in that hole. These holes, we're not going to fill those. Those are factory holes. That's the bi-Plymouth emblem that goes in here, and either that or it's the Cuda one. Can't remember whether, I think this is the bi-Plymouth, and the Cuda goes up here stuck on. But that's a long ways away. So I'll get set up and we'll weld up that little spot. Alright guys, so we've got the welder all buzzing up. So I'll just come in here. Well, it looks like I got to move my aluminum over a little bit. It is shining through here. So because the metal is so thin, it's just blowing it away. So we'll put a light in behind here so you can see better. So if you can see that, right there, That's where it's blowing through. So I'm just gonna move my aluminum over a little bit, and then I can fill that up. So there we go, we got this all welded up, and so what I'll do now, I want to go on the back side, put a couple welds in there so it doesn't blow through. I can see a couple little pinholes. We don't want those. But the nice thing is, like the theory goes, it's got to get worse before it gets better. So by making the welds in here and blowing out, making it bigger, it's actually melting away the thin metal so we can get to the stronger metal in behind. The weld will fill this in. You won't even see it when it's done. There's going to be a high build primer on this, skim coat of everything, and if I remember correctly, there's a bezel that comes around here a little bit. It might not, it's been a long time since I've actually put the taillights in this, but if memory serves me, it goes out just a little bit beyond. So even if there is a little wrinkle in here, which I'm hoping that we never have any wrinkles in any of the sheet metal on this, but we can fill that in. I just want to put some welds on the back so that's a little more secure. We get into more of the thicker metal. Hey guys, so we got that all welded up. Put a little bit of a weld in here, ground that down. Looking pretty good. There's a little bit of a dimple in the bottom. But in the meantime, I got my spray gun out. We just put some aluminum oxide, some etching primer on here, just a real thin coat. I had the gun out anyways. I wanted to do the shock cross member on it, so we did a little bit of spray on the back here just to protect it. Keep it clean, keep it protected. So what we'll do now, we'll get under the car, we'll get our shock cross member in place, and we'll weld that thing in. That is the last big weld underneath of the car, and well, I'm really getting tired of doing overhead welding, so after this we'll work on the floor pans on the back seat. Right, so here we are, we're back under the car. We got the shock cross member in place. I put it on a jack with a piece of 2x4, pushing up on the bottom of the car so we can get tight where the flanges meet in there. So we'll put some plug welds in there. I think on the inside here we're going to run a bead down here as well, probably one on the outside as well. That way we know that this is in here welded nice and secure, and the frame rails are tied to one another on each side. So as you can see, I've ground down the primer on the frame rails so that we can get good penetration. I'm not too worried about the underside of this because, like I say, I'm going to sandblast everything anyways, get all the scale, rust, everything else off of this. So my biggest concern was up at the top because, well, it's not going to be that easy to do that, sandblast and paint up in there, but we'll end up laying some primer and paint and make sure everything is sealed in there really well. As you can see, we've got a lot of welds that we got to grind down from welding overhead. So as we go, we'll just get this all welded in, and this will be the last big overhead welding that I got to do. There's a few spots that got to grind down the welds, fill them back up again, make sure there's good penetration. I'm more than sure that there's good penetration all the way through in here, but any pinholes and such, I don't want it to bleed through. I don't want it to rust. We're doing too much work on this car to see any pinholes, get some rust underneath of here. So I'll just go ahead and we'll weld these up, and we'll show you the end result. All right, so here we go. We got this cross member all welded in, ran a couple stitches down the inside, plug weld down on the bottom here. Did the same thing on the other side here. Pretty happy with the result. So there we go. The shock cross member is now welded in, and I hope I don't have to use that phrase again, shock cross member. But there it is, it's in. It's measured out to where it was when it came out. So we'll leave this for now. No more overhead welding, as far as I know anyways. Might be a few spots that I gotta touch up as we go. And the rust, don't worry about the rust. We are gonna blast this down. Same thing with the back seat pan here. We'll blast that down again. Get a coat of primer on there. But I'll just flip around here and we'll show you what we're gonna work on next. All right guys, so we're inside the car right now. This is the driver's side floor pan under the back seat. So as you can see, there is a few holes. So we got some stuff that we got to address in here. So what we'll end up doing, we'll cut this stuff out. We'll make a new panel to go in here. But this is all next episode. I'm not going to get into that today.
But yeah, we got quite a bit of work to do. Driver's side's worse off than what the passenger side is. Here's the passenger side. I think we can get away with just doing down in here. But yeah, it's coming along. Hopefully soon the 71 Cuda will have some life breathed into it, get it moving again. But little by little, we'll get some stuff made, get some stuff fastened in here, and hopefully soon we can start working on some mud and sanding that down. But that's a long ways away. So here we go, guys. We got a little bit of prime put on the back of this. It's looking really good. I'm happy with the results that we've got on here. Shock cross member, last time I hope. It's all welded in, frame rails are welded in. We just got to address the back of the seat floor pan where the frame rails meet to it. A couple tabs of weld up on that. Then we got a bunch of grinding to get rid of the welds on the bottom side. Not get rid of the welds, just knock them down. You know how MIG welding goes, you end up with that little tit that's on there. So we'll knock those down, we'll do some grinding on that. We still got the filler neck support to go in. Tons of work left to do. Thank you for watching my videos. Please like, subscribe, leave your comments. I love hearing your comments as the progress of the 71 Cuda. I can't wait until we reach 500. We're almost there, we're getting close. 500 subscribers, get some hours watched. But thanks again, guys. Till the next video, take care. And a Happy New Year.